Call the meeting to order. Mr. Hillman, will you call roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Davis, absent. Mr. Hillsman, here. Mrs. Parker, absent. Mr. Sanchez, absent. Mr. Standifer,
Here.
here. You can speak for yourself. Mr. Watkins.
Here.
Mr. Woolley.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Do you have a quorum? Next item, approval of the minutes, the regular meeting of July 14th, 2026. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Got a motion by
Second.
Mr. Woolley, a second by Mr. Watkins. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item, staff updates and comments. Public Works Director Pat Gagos.
Good morning. So currently we have 37 positions, 4 vacancies. We have a couple that are on light duty, so they're kind of out of work for right now. And that's update on our staff. I think next Public Works meeting, I'm going to bring you over a proposal to where I'm going to try to add 3 positions into the sanitation department. And the purpose of the sanitation department is to actually have extra drivers plus have a crew that all they do is do alleys, picks up the large debris in alleys, and we have a constant rotation on that. 2 of our light duties right now is in the sanitation, so we're down a driver or 2. So hopefully this proposal will help us fix 2 things. We'll have extra drivers in case we need them. Plus we'll have a constant rotation in the alleyways picking up large debris. So that'll come to you next Public Works meeting. If we could put that on the agenda right away before I forget. Other than that, that's my updates for right now.
Good, thank you. City Manager Scott Minn's absent. Infrastructure Project Administrator Joe McVeigh.
Good morning. So South Avenue K is coming along. They should have all of their concrete poured by Thursday, is what we're hoping for. They are going to meet with campus police so that they can work on some traffic control whenever it comes to this weekend for all the students coming into town and everything. So that should be pretty clear and have some direction for people to be able to drive around, walk around, get used to the campus. We are working on, still waiting on our grant agreements for capital outlay. So checking on that all the time, sending some emails, just waiting on that. And with our design that we talked about for Railroad all the way up to Lime, working with Stantec on that, kind of working out some paperwork and signing everything to get that started and going. That is my update.
Joe, would you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
You know, Mr. Trujillo,
Yes.
would you call him and tell him what you're doing? Because he doesn't understand the emphasis of putting right, because he gripes about railroad all the time. But tell him what you're doing and tell him it's gonna be a final fix, not gonna be a temporary fix. So, because he is a Facebook warrior #1. So if we can get him on our side for that one, so.
I can do that. Yes, sir.
Good. Any more questions for Ms. McVeigh? Mayor Davidson, do you have anything you'd like to?
I don't have anything today
Thank you.
yet.
Well, we'll move on. Discussion and or action items. Item A, discuss progress of ongoing street work and mapping.
She just gave you the update of the street work that we currently have going on. The crews are busy fixing potholes. But like I said, with our vacancies, the street crew is down 3 distant streets.
And I put that on the thing and what I'm interested in is, remember that crew that came in here in the van? Was there an actual analysis done, prioritize streets?
They are still working on that,
Okay.
so that's coming up right now. So RAS is still working on that assessment. We went with iWorks. Y'all heard that presentation, so we're currently getting that up and going. We actually we have a meeting this afternoon to do kickoff for that right there. We're gonna look at their programming. The good thing about what happened is we had budgeted $125,000 for this software. This software that we went with is 25,000 or so. So I'm gonna evaluate how good their road software is. If not, we still have plenty of money to actually utilize RAS's software because their high end is 50 and their low end is 20. And that's all they do. So it might be beneficial for us to at least the first year, let RAS software do its thing and let us use that. We could still implement all the maps and stuff into iWorks and update as we go. But since we did save a lot of money on this software, that's
How's the implementation of iWorks going?
today's the first day. So we have our first meeting this afternoon at 2. I've already started looking at the site and all that stuff. And so they're just looking now, we just getting all the mapping done and everything like that. So that's what we're going to currently work on. Hopefully RAS will have their assessment done soon. So we know exactly what we need to do and all that. The key difference is I think RAS, if we go with them, is they can actually give us a cost of how much it's going to cost us. If we do like a 10-year plan and how much we do each year, do that plan to get it up to a certain level. So I'm going to look into both of them. As soon as I start working with iWorks more, I should be able to know which one I really want to use for the roads.
Good.
And then as far as that's the mapping in the streets. So
Any further questions? Item B, discussion of cemetery expansion and progress with cemetery management software.
we are up and going with this the cemetery software. We've already sent over the GIS mapping, all the maps that we have, our log, our Excel spreadsheet, so we can start making sure they map it out correctly, plus everybody's in the correct positions and all that. So that's just an ongoing thing. And so we are working, I actually talk to them almost every other day now, trying to get that implemented. We did have a meeting. There's a couple of things that they wanted to do and some of the things that we probably need to discuss that we're going to discuss at the next cemetery meeting is how are we going to do, because they're asking us if we're going to be able to purchase plots and all that stuff in the system. Right now, everything goes through mortuary. So I think in time, we probably do need to take that control back and utilize our software the way it's supposed to be and have a good tracking of it. Because if we do it that way, people will actually be able to purchase stuff just right on the app, and it goes straight into whatever funds we need to go to and all that stuff. So that's something we're looking at. Plus the new rules for the cemetery need to get in place before this goes live so we can actually put it on the app itself. So that was our big ask this last meeting is I had a set of rules, the mayor had a set of rules, and we're looking at all of them, and then we're gonna make a decision at this next cemetery meeting of what we want the rules to look like. Once those go in effect, we can bring them to you guys to look over.
Could some of that be made retroactive?
I don't know. It could be. I don't know how far back retroactive you want to do it, but definitely want to do
To make it easier.
the new one on it.
There, but
And I just attended a funeral Friday in Gallup, New Mexico. That Sunset Memorial is where they had it at. The majority of their headstones are flat. They do not have no grass, no vegetation in the entire thing. It's just that fine crushed rock everywhere. I didn't know if I like it like that or not, but you go there and it's clean and everything is right there. And so, it's one of the things that we can look at. I don't know, especially now that we're not getting as much rain as we used to and stuff like that. So we got a lot of decisions to make probably in a short amount of time to get this new site up and running. Another thing is just grass, but I do want to make sure that the new site is clean. We can't build whatever we want to in the cemetery. For one, it doesn't look that good. Number two, it makes it hard on the crews to actually mow and clean up in those areas, so. We'll be definitely looking at that. I think we had let the cemetery, work group kind of slip by for a few months. Now it's back to working, so we'll be able to start presenting you guys some more information, so you have to make some decisions on which direction we'll go.
Any questions for Mr. Gaines?
I have one. The name of the company that's doing the cemetery software, is it CemSite, CEMSITE?
Sim sites, yes.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I had the right name of the company.
Next item C, discuss progress connecting reuse water to the parks and projected timelines.
Mr. Chair,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. I had a question for Mr. Gallegos. Regarding the spreadsheet, what data is being put into that spreadsheet? Is that per grave, like name, plot, et cetera?
For plot and everything like that, and I believe it has some of the contact information on it and all that
Okay.
stuff, so. We're gonna try to update everything, and then once they actually update it and everything. I'm gonna assign them to do a check. Go to each location and verify name to what's there.
Is it at that point in time that we could, or would that software be able to put a GPS location for each one of those plots?
From my understanding, once we get this up and running, will be able to type in a name of a loved one,
Okay,
and it should map it out to
okay,
to the site itself.
okay. Because irrespective of the spreadsheet and the data, that older cemetery is very hard to find stuff map wise.
Yes,
It-
so
It doesn't really follow logic.
it's supposed to be able to do that, so I'm gonna make sure once we get this up and running, it does exactly what they told us it would do.
And Watkins was talking about retroactively regarding rules. I do think that things that are clear violations could be brought back to order. You know,
Anything that was out of compliance before now is
Yeah.
not.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's probably most of what you're dealing with.
yeah.
yeah, I just didn't know if he meant like when we had the new rules and go tear down stuff, that was in compliance, so,
Yeah,
but yeah, as far as violations, yes, definitely gonna have to rectify all the violations.
there are some dangerous things in that cemetery. So I think it would be reasonable to, deal with them. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, item C, discuss progress connecting reuse water to the parks and projected timelines.
Projected timelines, we do have. So far, we have the softball complex that's able to get it as soon as we get the reuse water going. Comfort Park got hooked up, so they can go as soon as we get the water used. Our next ones are Lindsay and, Morrison Park. So we'll be working on those as part of timelines. It's kind of hard to do because our parks crews are doing that and our streets crews are both working on these things, depending on who has the time to get in there and actually dig the holes and do the connections, and our water department actually. So I'm hoping to have everything hooked up. I think the winter time will probably be our best time to start working on this stuff, because the parks crews will not be working on the parks as much or mowing and stuff like that, and the streets should have some extra time. So hopefully this winter is when we can get the majority worked up on them. Our biggest one is gonna be Rotary Park. I'm gonna have to redo that whole park with irrigation, so that'll be our biggest one, and I'm not sure if we're gonna contract that out or do it in-house, but more than likely, I'll probably have to contract it.
Are we waiting on the state for approval so we can start?
So right now with our reuse, we have our corrective action plan. It's, we just sent it to the New Mexico Environmental Department. So if they approve the plan, the plan covers the entire wastewater treatment plant. There's two different phases. One says that this is what they need for reuse, and the other is the rest of the plant. So if they approve the plan, I'm gonna focus on the reuse first. We do have the funds that they expect to spend on that part. So we could actually go ahead and start moving forward quickly. So, and we're actually working with CDM Smith on CDM Smith Company. So we will be meeting with them probably as soon as they pick a date, because we just asked for another meeting to see the progress. So we're on it pretty quickly now, and we're trying to get an answer from the state. Once we get that answer, we can move forward. So on the reuse. And I think once we're able to move forward, it's gonna move pretty quickly. Hopefully, we can get it done by spring.
On Morrison Park. We need to do something with all the ground before we put a sprinkler system in. If we're looking at the one time that was talked about taking 4 or 5 inches of dirt completely off and starting new.
Yeah, that's still, that's still gonna be looked at, especially when we start doing the sprinkler systems and stuff like that, because we're gonna do a lot. Those parks need a lot of work, especially in the baseball field areas, if we're gonna actually utilize those parks again. And so it's all in the works to do all that.
Does
And
this-
and I think, the guys now are starting to get more hours on our new blade that we have. Right now, they're currently using the blade to go build the berm around the playa. So we can get that into compliance with the state. So, we're getting hours on that blade. Once they get more proficient at it, I'd feel comfortable putting them inside a baseball field, trying to smooth it out and get the top layer of dirts off of it.
Does the city have a sprayer they could use like on the parks and in that field?
They do. So
Is it just one?
they have it on a little mule or something like that. So
Is it a hand sprayer or a?
that I don't know. I have to look at that, but I know that they use a mule to carry the tanks. So and I'm assuming it has the automatic spray or something so they can drive it through and spray, but I'm not
Spray
sure.
with the boom behind it?
Yeah,
I'd heard all it was a hand sprayer that
So-
they could set the whole thing in the back of the pickup and somebody just one
Yeah.
sprayer, but if we could
I
make
can look
that
at,
a boom.
Boom type sprayer.
I'll put it on my list. And we can work on that.
I don't know if that might be.
Well, no,
Great.
it's one of the things that I need to get looking at, because once we get this water going, I want to be able to knock down those weeds pretty quickly. And then start putting grass back in. We don't have like just the equipment that we do, like a aerator for the grounds to just aerate the ground. I need to look again, that stuff too. And then actually start laying down some seed finally, once we get this water going. So, yeah, I'll look at that, and if they don't, then we'll update it, because it'll help them out, it'll be quicker and be easier for them.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any additional comments from our committee members?
I know it's not easy, when you have let stuff go for so many years, it's hard to catch back up. But believe me, you can see progress.
Thank you. No, we'll definitely, once I do got to make these parks safer. These roofs need to be redone. I need to take the tin that's blowing off and remove it before it actually blows off and hits somebody. So, it's a progress, but we'll get it done. We're gonna make it look nicer and better and get people back into our parks.
Moving on, item 6 is our next meeting date and time, September 15th, 2026 at 9 AM. And that is on our resolution here, so. No further questions, I'll adjourn the meeting.